Hello and welcome to Elephant English Podcast. In today's video, we're going to be talking about London. My mum is here and I'm going to be asking her some questions about her last trip to London, which was 6 months ago. What do you like about visiting London?
I love London because it's a vibrant city. It's got a lot of culture and you can always find something to do. You can find paid activities and a lot of free activities too.
What is your favourite part of London to visit?
My favourite part to visit is Covent Garden because I used to go there quite a lot when I was a teenager and it brings back good memories. It can be very lively and exciting. And then other times it can be very quiet. It depends what time of year you go or what time of day you go.
Sometimes there's live music and performers in the street, aren't there?
Yes, and my cousin's son is a street performer and he does juggling there at Covent Garden. But there's also buskers. And it all creates a nice environment for tourists and for people who live in London.
And what are some free things that you can do in London if you're travelling on a budget?
You can go to the parks. There are many parks in London. You can go and visit all the sites of London, like Buckingham Palace, Tower of London, and other famous monuments in London. You don't have to go inside them to appreciate them.
Yeah, I think it's quite a nice walk from Houses of Parliament, so Big Ben, cross the river to the London Eye, and then walk all along South Bank, and you can see a lot of things there, and that is all free, isn't it?
Yes, we did that walk last time we were in London, and it was the first time that I'd walked on that side of the river, because generally people stick to the centre of the city or they walk along the embankment, which is quite popular.
Yeah, I liked walking along South Bank because there were a lot of stalls and you could sit on the bench and watch everybody walk by. And I think it's just a nice environment. Everybody seems very happy and it feels very safe, doesn't it? For a big city. I was quite surprised when I last visited London because compared to other cities, it didn't really feel like a busy capital.
I think that maybe the walkway on the South Embankment is quite new because I had never thought about walking on that side. So it's something to consider another time.
I think you've never been to Borough Market though, have you?
No, I haven't been to Borough Market or Camden Market. I think I normally stick to the areas of London that I enjoy visiting.
Yeah, it is quite expensive. So I think the last time I went, a hot dog was £8, which was quite expensive. So we just walked around and then walked further out when we wanted something for lunch.
When we go to a big city, we normally go to a shop or supermarket and buy sandwiches and snacks there. We don't tend to eat out in big cities. Another place that you can visit for free is the Sky Garden, which you have to book online.
I think you have to book it a week before because when I went, it was too late. I hadn't booked it the week before, so I couldn't go up there.
I would suggest keeping an eye on the website for about a month before, just to make sure that you can book it. You go up very high, I think it's about 32 floors, and you can see the view of London and the Thames, and there's a cafe and restaurant up there too.
So it's a good free option if you don't want to go on the London Eye, because I think the London Eye cost about £35 each. So if there are 4 adults, then it's a lot of money.
Yes, and the London Eye is a very busy attraction.
And where would you recommend staying? Would you recommend staying in the centre of the city or on the outskirts and catch a bus in?
I would recommend staying just on the outskirts where you've got easy access to a bus or a train or underground.
Yeah, the last time I stayed in London, I caught a bus into the centre which left me at Big Ben, so at Houses of Parliament, and it only cost £1.70. So it worked out a lot cheaper than staying in the centre of London, which would have cost about £50 more per night.
We normally stay between Euston Station and King's Cross Station. Then you can easily walk into the centre of London, but also in the evening you can get the underground back to your hotel.
When I went, it was summer, so I couldn't book that hotel because it was very, very expensive. That's why I stayed on the outskirts.
Yeah, it's worth planning your trip quite a long time in advance just to keep an eye on prices and locations.
And have you visited any of the museums in London?
Yes, we've been to the National History Museum, which is very, very big, and it can take a day to look around all the floors. And on our last trip, we went in the National Gallery, which is just near Trafalgar Square, and we really enjoyed that, and that was the first time we'd ever been there. So I've been going to London for many years, but there are still plenty of new places to visit.
For example, you haven't been to the British Museum, or is it the Tate Museum?
Oh, I have been to the Tate Museum. When I was about 18, I used to regularly go to London, and it was one of my favourite places to go and walk around on my own.
And it's good because they're free. However, last summer when I visited London, I found that as it is free, a lot of people go to the museum even though they're not interested in looking around. They just went there to sit down, and it was quite stressful, really, because there was a lot of people everywhere.
Yes, especially if there's bad weather, then people will head to the museums. But you wouldn't want to have to pay to go in all the museums, so it's a choice you make.
And what do you think about going to Madame Tussauds?
I know that it's very popular with foreign tourists. I went many years ago and it was very good. But I think it's very expensive for a big family to go to.
And what do you think about going to a West End show, like a musical? Because that can be expensive as well, but is it worth it?
I think it is really worth it if you can afford to buy tickets to see a West End show. You might have to pre-book a month or 2 months in advance, but there are also some tickets for sale on the day. If the theatre has cancellations, then they're available about an hour before the performance, I think.
What shows have you seen in London?
Years ago, I saw Hello Dolly. I've seen...
Cats?
I can't remember. Oh, I've seen Cats a number of times. And I've seen Footloose. And one of the best shows I've seen was a Michael Jackson tribute show. I've been to see that twice.
And what's the transport like in London?
Well, because the roads are very busy in London, we normally walk a lot because it's the quickest way to travel. One time we bought a ticket for a tour bus, a hop-on, hop-off bus, and we found that we were sat still in traffic most of the time.
So you wouldn't recommend a tour bus?
No, I wouldn't, because it
can take a long time to get to places because of traffic.
Yeah, we were hoping to see the changing of the guard, and we didn't get there in time because we were just sat in traffic. So the underground is very good, and the normal buses, the regular buses, are good too.
I would recommend taking a bus to go to Camden Market, for example, because I walked there and it was a very, very long way, and the day after we were very tired. But I think, for example, if you want to go to Notting Hill, then you could walk through Hyde Park. So depending on where you're going to go on that day, you should take public transport more or less.
Yeah, I think if you can find a good map, a street map, and plan what you're going to do each day, because it's very easy to do too much on your first day and then you're tired or your feet are sore for the following days.
So if you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comment box below. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.